Hi everyone, Justin Tucker here. In this video tutorial we are going to move right along into step 3. That is going to be add fields to content types. We just came from a video of identifying and adding categories to our website, which we did in taxonomy. And at this point we are now going to take the content types we created in step 1 and actually start to add fields to them. Okay, and so to do that, we're going to go to structure, and we're going to go to content types. And earlier I had made these 4 content types. Very basic, just got them set up, haven't added any fields. In order to add fields, you're going to notice on the right hand side we've got different functions we can perform on the content type, and one of these is to manage fields. Inside here is where you get the option to add a new field. Okay? You'll notice that when you add a new field, you have to select what type of data is it, or what type of field is it. Is it a date field? Is it a text field? Is it a text body field? So you naturally have to kind of understand what type of field you're going to need before going into it, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Now, one thing I'll say is this is kind of the list it gives you right now. There are many modules out there, and depending on the fields that I need, may have to go and grab some or activate more modules. And what these modules do is give you extra fields, and these fields are different field types. So, for example, one field type that isn't here is called location. So you could certainly add a long text field, which is basically a text area, or it's going to be a big box where you can type in paragraphs and a lot of material. And you could just use that as your address field, but it's probably better to go and grab the location module and activate that to allow us to be able to collect address fields. And in our case, we're probably going to need address fields for the content types of, I don't know, jobs available probably. The company listing the job available may want to say, hey, obviously here's our address, here's where the job is at. So let's just do that. Let's dive into jobs available posting, okay? And you'll notice that we have jobs available title. We addressed that when we created the content type, and we have a body by default, okay? To start with, I personally like to clean this up, and even though it's body and this same field is used elsewhere, I'm going to give this one its own name, and I'm going to call it, job description. And there's other things we can select here, the number of rows. If there's any default value, you could, for example, put enter job description here. Okay, to prompt the user to know that's what this box is for. We'll go ahead and do that just to illustrate it. And then number of values. I don't need more than one job description for this one job. If I did, I would select the different number or unlimited, and that would provide an add more button um, so that the user can add as many as they choose. And I'm going to save that setting. And basically all I've done here, I haven't added a field yet, I've just renamed a current field, and I wanted to rename it to something more meaningful. So while that saves, I'm going to go out to Drupal and get the location module. And granted, it's, takes some working with Drupal and understand that you may or may not need some of these things. I'm going to go to the tarball, I'm going to right click, I'm going to choose copy link address. Okay, and now I'm going to install that module by clicking install new module, pasting in the URL and clicking install. Oh, have the wrong URL there. Let's try that. Okay, and while that install, okay, so it's saying location is already installed. I guess I do have it in here already. So I'm going to go back to my module list and search for that. And here we go. Location, really what I want is the location CCK. Defines a location field type. And that's what we were wanting to have, okay? Hit save configuration. And it's asking me, in order to do that, you must enable the location module to install location CCK. Nice thing about Drupal is it asks, would you like me to do that for you? Of course you do. And that is going to turn on all the modules needed to, well, not all the, well, the needed modules to give you the ability to add a location field to a particular content type. So while that is loading, we're going to go back over to our content type page here, and I'm going to go ahead and refresh it. And now when we click the drop down box, we should get a new option. There it is, location. Okay. So this is a much better option for capturing addresses because it's going to be able to segregate street and city and state and zip, and there's going to be kind of a database that comes with the module where you can make meaningful searches, like you can do a proximity search from a certain zip code and stuff like that. Clearly, you're not going to be able to do that as easily if you just add in a text field for street, a text field for city, a text field for state, or a drop-down list for state. So I prefer to use the location module for that, but this is just one small example. Again, this list can get fairly large depending on the different field types that you um, can have available to you from other modules out there in the Drupal community. We will call this job location. Now, one thing I like to do, you'll notice that this machine name, okay, gets created kind of as a derivative of the new field title or the label that you're giving the new field. I typically like to put in front of it something that gives me a clue as to what content type this field belongs to. So I'm going to call it jobs avail underscore location. So I'm going to kind of prepend all the machine readable names with that. I mean, of course, it prepends field underscore for you, but this is going to let me know that every field I make for a jobs available posting is going to have this in front of it, and it's going to let me know when I later on maybe look at large lists of fields to choose from that I want to display. I'll be able to easily understand what this field is belongs to, and in this case, it's the jobs available posting. Okay, so that's the label of it. That is the machine readable name. The important thing here is that this is what the database reads, essentially. Location, and then we have a one type, and that's location field. So I'm going to hit save, and when you hit save, that is going to dive us into another screen to where we can configure this field further. Okay, so for example, in each one of these fields, this is going to be different because it depends on what the field does or what type of data field it is. So in location name here, I guess we'll allow it. This would be like Walmart or Conoco or GM, or this would be the name of the place. The street location, we want to allow that. Additional, sure. City, do not collect. No, we want the city. State and province, absolutely. We won't make it autocomplete. We'll give our users a drop down. Postal code, yes, collect. Country, force default. Let's just make this a United States website. Or you could allow or require this depending on your needs. Coordinate chooser, that's a bit too much for this. We won't collect that. If you need to hide any of these fields from display, so you could have a scenario where you want to collect the information but necessarily not show all of it. And this is where you can specify what you don't want to display of the fields that you collected, either allowed to be collected or required to be collected, or you can have another force default. So for example, You know, maybe I only want Edmond. Uh, so pretend this is a local site, hyper-local site. I could force this default of Edmond. So this can't be changed. Don't want to do that in this case. And these are all fine. So I'll hit Save Field Settings. Then it takes us to a final page to make sure that our title's good. We can have help text if we want. We'll do that. Enter the location of the job. And then if we have any default values, we can put that there. There's the drop-down list of our states. Number of values, unless, I don't know, you got the example of, there's satellite offices and there's different locations. Typically, the job we're offering is at this location, we'll assume, and we'll just allow one value to be collected. And you get to revisit this one last time if you need to change your mind. If you save this and you still need to change your mind, no big deal. Just click Edit and it takes you right back into it. And so now we've got a title, a description, and a job location. So at this point, excuse me, I want to just show you what this has done. So let's click Add Content. And this was on the jobs available posting content type. And let's just pretend like we're going to add a new job posting. You're going to see the three fields that we've just created. It's very, very basic at this point, but our three fields are title, description, and location. Title, right here, description, and location. All right? And that's that. Obviously, there's more fields we need. There's more fields per content type we need. I'm probably going to stop this video here, and in the next video, make it an extension of this one. Excuse me. So that you can kind of see the full process I went through to add all the fields. But this is the idea of adding fields to content types, and it's very important, as you can see. Well, let's just add one more here. Let's see. Job description, job location. Let's go ahead and add one of the taxonomy terms. So let's do job type. So in step 2, or the last video, we added some categories. And we added some options in those categories, some subcategories. They're called taxonomy and terms. So this is the label that I want to have, and it's going to be, this is the machine readable name. Again, I'm keeping the naming convention consistent. But in this one, I'm going to choose term reference, and it's going to ask me autocomplete, checkbox, or select list. The difference here is autocomplete means it's going to be open text box where you can just start typing in topics separated by a comma or a space. And then as you type these, it is going to create categories in the database. So this is a very open-ended way of creating new terms. What we did in step 2 was basically create set terms that we want to limit the choice to, okay? If we want to allow our users to select multiple options under this job type or under this term, we would want to look at doing checkboxes or radio buttons. Checkboxes is going to come up if we allow multiple. Radio buttons is just going to list all the options out with a button to the left. And then we've also got select list. So these are all just different ways of laying out the options. Okay, so in this case, I'm actually going to choose checkbox and radio buttons, and I'm going to hit save. And the vocabulary, the category that it's asking, what would you like to use? It so happens we are on the right one. We do want job type. But you'll notice here's the other ones that we created in the other video. Okay? So we'll choose job type, and then we go into this field setting. Please choose the correct job type. And it shows us default value. Okay? We can set a default value, or we can just leave this alone. Number of values. In this case, it can only be one. We can't really have a, or I don't know, maybe we could have multiple, meaning maybe this job is available as, part-time and full-time. Okay, so we'll give the user the option and we'll choose unlimited. It's still under the job type vocabulary, and we'll hit save. And now we've added a new field. Voila, there we go. So let's see what this looks like now. So under create content, I'll just refresh this page because this is creating a jobs available posting. Okay, we still have our title, still have our description, still have our location, and now we have job type, and there's the radio buttons. And again, just to drive the point home, under structure, under taxonomy, under job type, if we list terms, you'll notice temporary, part-time, full-time, other, and that corresponds to temporary, part-time, full-time, other. And in configuring this field, we have allowed the user to choose any combination. Probably for the most part, it's just going to be one. Okay, but that's how that works. And this field here, it brings in this taxonomy term that we created here. You'll also notice if I move it around here in taxonomy and refresh the page, you'll notice that it moves around on the page. So now other is on top, which is where I moved it, and I'll put it back. Okay, so I guess I will end the video here this time. But that is the core thing to understand about adding fields to content types. Again, there's going to be another video after this that will elaborate more on the other fields that I add to these if you want to see all the steps I took to actually get the fields that we're going to be using in the subsequent videos onto these different content types. So, as always, thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you would like. Comments are always welcome, and if you have any questions of any kind, always know to ask. And I will see you on the next video.